Reviews. We're going to start with the big one. It's the 335, and it's the Betfair hurdle. Right, rather than just give you prices for all of them, we've got 18 at the moment. I'll give you the prices when the guys make their selections. And Adele is going to make an excellent case for the Nichols runners.
Well, Paul absolutely loves this meeting. Like he loves having. He said it was one of his favourite meetings of the season. So, and he's got some great chances, and I'm hoping he's got two very strong ones. I couldn't quite decide between the two because I couldn't quite see which one he was siding with. From what I can see, both of them have got very good chances. So, Hacker does pass for me. Who has done very, very little wrong, has got a good attitude. I suppose they probably learned a little bit about him with Angus, maybe hitting the front a little bit too soon with him the last time he rode him. So maybe he might just hold on to him a little bit more. That was at Cheltenham. He's a nice, neat jumper, looks quite straightforward. And then his other one, Rubo, look, he was firmly put in his place by Rare Edition on Boxing Day. That was on soft ground. I think the better ground on Saturday will suit him. A mark of 130. Paul seemed to think that was fine for him. So, again, the two of them just, they've not done anything really wrong for me. And I presume they're going to be big enough prices that you could even play them at the place market. I'm not sure which one's bigger. So, yeah, look, it's a great race. There's only ever been two winning favourites, so look for something at a big price. They've been as big as you like, the winners of that race. So yeah, I'm going for them too. I think Paul's going to have a great day on Saturday.
Well, he's running so much, isn't he? And so just to agree with you there on, I was tossing up between two of them. I've sided with Rubo, who is an 8.5 shot. 10.0 is Hacker de Place. You're quite right. After that race at Cheltenham, Paul said exactly that he, hit the front too soon. I do think that is good form. I'm slightly put off by the fact that under his £5 penalty, he's actually £1 wrong. But
yeah, you would rather him not have that. But
yeah.
like I just don't like in the way he goes and the job he's done so far this season. I don't think there's not many negatives about him. So yeah, that's I just say I'll pick them too.
So I'll side with Rubo for obviously they're going to keep going with Angus Chalida on Hacker de Place, Harry Cobden's on Rubo. I know Rare Edition didn't exactly frank the form yesterday, but I still think that's a really good horse. And I just can't get out of my head the weight of money that came for Rubo last time. He's got the right profile for this race. Being a novice, I think 130 is. I think has the capability to be way beyond that. And yeah, I'm happy enough to take him, win and place. And the other one I want to back is One More for the Road. Definitely win and place. He's 34.0. He's a course and distance winner when he beat Captain Morgs, who proves, Steve, that he's no monkey, Captain Morgs. He's straightforward. When he won again recently, that's really good form. But also in that race, Gal Rhodes gone on to be rated higher over fences. Soaring Glory was disappointing in that. I know he nicked it a bit from the front, but I do like a horse that is up with the pace in this race. Much of that in recent seasons has been because it was a standing start when they had those in place. So maybe that's slightly skewed on now that they get another go to jig-jog in. But still, I like you to be up with the pace in this race. He will be. The only bad run he's put in recently was last time. So that's at the back of my mind, but that's why he's the price he is. If you forgive that, I think he's got a lot in his favour. And I'm just really surprised he's the price he is. Jack Quinlan's won this race before as well. So One More for the Road, win and play. Steve Jones.
Unmute myself, I'll remember. Rare Edition yesterday was scoped a bit dirty, so I shouldn't worry about that if you do fancy the form there with Rubo. I fancy one. I can't understand why this horse is this price. He's 17.0, 21.0, something like that. Dear Mark, who is right down the bottom of the weight. Sam Thomas, who hasn't got a huge amount of horses, but he's got a good strike rate and he knows how to set one up for a decent race. This horse's form all the way through has been really good. And it's been, he handles decent ground. He won a bumper on decent ground, so he shouldn't have any problem with there. He took to to hurdles. First time up, he finished second to Fenner Cross at Cheltenham back in October, again on decent ground. Now, Fenner Cross came out and won a Grade 2 at Cheltenham the following month when Dear Mark wasn't so good. But that certainly wasn't his form, and he bounced back from that to win at Hereford. And then last time on handicap debut at Kempton on softer ground, he beat Caleb a length and a half. Well, Caleb had form with the likes of Rare Edition in bumpers and Tamurus, the Tolworth winner. He actually unseated it in the Sydney Banks yesterday, but don't worry about that. But that's good form. And Dear Mark, even though he beat him a length and a half, absolutely bolted up. And the thing was, the jockey, Sam Twiston-Davies, it's Charlie Deutsch this time, which is a good thing as well because he's riding really well. He couldn't hold on to him long enough. This horse travels so well. So this kind of race would be absolutely perfect for Dear Mark. He'll love him going a fast pace. He'll love the big field, so he can just cruise into it. And I've looked at it over and over again, and I just cannot understand why he's the price he is. So winning place, Dear Mark.
Yeah, 19.0 and DC.
I am going for 2 Chris Gordon horses in this. Adele mentioned about Paul Nichols loving this meeting, and Chris Gordon generally comes into form around this time of year, and he always has runners running well in this particular race. So the first one I'm looking at is Auchenrisk. He's back over hurdles after 3 runs chasing. He's rated £7 higher chasing after 3 runs than he is over hurdles. He's a horse I like an awful lot. I've kind of followed him over the last season. He's about 14 or 14.0, 16.0. Like Chris Gordon has had horses like Remeluk now placing this race at massive prices. He ran a cracker last time behind Boot Hill. He got one in a length of Boot Hill chasing. I think he's probably thrown in off the mark. He is. They're kind of in the middle of the weight, so I'll be having a win place betting him. He's about 15 or 16.0, and I'm going to go after the one who's at Highway 102, who again is just a good solid handicapper. He has already beaten Hacker de Place by 7.5 lengths this year at Ascot. He beat him on good ground there, absolutely thumped him. He was given £2 that day, and now he's given him £1 today. He is 21.0. He's a massive price, so I'm just going to stick with Chris Gordon. He's 5 winners from 12 in the last 2 weeks, and he's had 2 seconds as well in second out of 10. Like they weren't 4 runner races, so he is in very good form. Keep an eye on him.
Yeah, I hope he wins the first race we're going to be looking at as well, or the first race on the ITV card anyway, which we'll come to now. I'll look at the 335 at Newbury. We're going to go back to the 150 next up. This is a Class 3 handicap hurdle over 3 miles. Barbados Bucks is the horse that heads the betting at 4.5. West of the Bridge is 7.0. 8.0 for Annual Invictus with Chris Gordon's son on board, Freddie Gordon. Jataluwa is 8.0, 9.0 regarding Ruth. Then we're into double figures. Deece, you can just make the case straight off the bat, and I agree with you.
Yeah, just going for Annual Invictus again. He's dropping down a grade. He's been running in Class 2s. Now he pulled up over Christmas, which isn't great. Before that, he won very, very well at the November meeting at Cheltenham, beating Fontana Lisi. Again, he was carrying he was nearly top weight in that. He had Tom Cannon on board, and he ran behind Captain Morgs in the international meeting at Cheltenham as well. He finished third. He was ahead of our boy Jack Louis that day. He is, he's top weight in this, but I think he should probably be able to carry it. It'll be good ground, which he's fine with. I think the ground is going to put a lot of horses off at the weekend because it's going to be very, very hard in Newbury, and you're going to need a horse that'll handle that. And I think he'll be fine in that. Again, he's a decent enough price. He's 8.0, so I'll probably have if they all come up, there's 9 in it there now. I mean, if it's the dead 8, I'll definitely have a win place betting them. But if there's a few pull out, I'll just go win only.
I was looking at him from a win place point of view at 8.0 currently. As you say, if couple come out, then you're not going to get 3 places. But I'd look at him from that point of view. The only thing I'd add is that when he did run badly in December, Chris Gordon's horses were quiet. He's had a really good season, but just December, they were very quiet. I thought that Barbados Bucks was pretty short, given how much he has or hasn't won and his effort last time. So, yeah, I wanted to take him on. Adele?
I have gone with West to the Bridge, a 10-year-old who has been there, done it numerous times. He's won 8 of his 34 starts. I was thinking I was going to go with Barbados Bucks, thinking he might be a bit of a safe bet. And then I thought, do you know what? This horse has done very little wrong. He, as I said, he's been there and done it. I think he's off a mark of 133. He's won off 136. So I do think he'll appreciate the step back up in trip. I know the last time he won was over the extended 3 miles, so back up to 3 on Saturday. I just can't see why he couldn't run a decent enough race. He's ran 2 decent races this year. The cheap pieces on the last day, they're back on again. Bridget, I find like I feel like the Skelton team seem to be putting her on these kind of horses, those that are a little bit older, that kind of probably want kidding along a little bit. And hopefully she can kind of kid him along and get him back to winning ways. So, yeah, I just think he's a safe enough bet. He jumps well. As I said, he's been there, done it, won 8 times, and hopefully he'll win again on Saturday.
And Steve?
Yeah, I'm going for, how do you say it? Jatilua, which is an Indonesian. It's in Bali. It's a historic rice terrace, apparently, but it's got a good chance. This horse, I think. Philip Hobbs has had a pretty dreadful season, but the horses are starting to run a lot better. And Jatilua has been running okay. Was 4th behind Captain Morse. Had been tried fences last season, but didn't really progress over them, but ran 4th behind Captain Morgs at Cheltenham, and that was just behind Annual Invictus, so the form ties in a bit there. But that was when Philip Hobbs's horses weren't running well. And last time at Ludlow, I just thought he was a bit keen in the softer ground, and that just compromised his finishing effort. And I think getting back on better ground over this sort of distance will help Jatilua, who is ridden not by his owner, David Maxwell, for the first time since arriving from France. And I think that's quite a key thing. Tom, the stable jockey, Tom O'Brien, rides, and I don't think that's a bad thing by any means. I mean, I wouldn't be too hard on David Maxwell because he buys these horses to ride, and that's exactly it. But you've got to be realistic and know what you're getting. And with Tom O'Brien, you're getting a better jockey, and that's the key. So I think he's a really good bet, actually. Jatilua got a great chance with the stable running much better again.
Good stuff. That is Jatilua at 8.0. I'm smiling because everyone's just taking the piss out of you, Steve, on the private chat. it's just not nice, is it? But yeah, he's struggled a bit with Philip this year, but we'll see how hopefully the horse will start picking up. I
would have tipped Jatilua if he was trained by anyone else, but I think Philip Hobbs I didn't know you said he was winding down. I don't know. I just think he's he's not doing it anymore. Jatilua is a good horse though, so I wouldn't put anyone after him.
They probably said that about Henry Cecil about 10 years before he traded Frankel. So.
And that is the only Frankel comparison Jatilua will ever have. Let's kick on with the I'm looking forward to doing this. This is the 225 because I know what Steve's lay is, and naturally it was almost my best bet. Right, Denman Chase. Hitman is 3.0. Eldorado Allen, who is rated superior, but he's got to give him £6, is 4.0. Funyun Destruval with the cheek pieces on is 4.5. Does he know? 8.0. Sam Brown 13.0. Kalashnikov 23.0. And Zanza for Philip Hobbs is 31.0. Steve, take it away.
Last year's winner should be favourite, in my opinion, even though he's giving weight away all round. Eldorado Allen, and he's got cheap pieces. I think this sort of sums this race up, that there's 7 runners, 5 of them are wearing headgear, 4 of them for the first time. So the one horse that probably needs it isn't wearing it. So Eldorado Allen, I think, has been really good. He beat Royal Pagal in this race last year, and thought that was, and Clanders Oboe, I thought that was the stronger race. And since then, he finished 3rd to Allaho at Cheltenham in the Ryanair. He finished 2nd to Braithman's Game in the Charlie Hall, and he was 2nd to Protectorate in the big race at Haydock. And then he was 4th in the King George. His form, he's been taking on top horses all the way through since he won this race last year, and now he takes on Hitman.
Please, can we clip up that laugh? So do you think Hitman needs headgear?
I know. I don't think anything would help Hitman. I think he's just soft, and I don't think and this is 2.7 and a bit.
Did you see?
I don't think he stays 3 miles. I think he needs to just say again.
Did you see what he did at Haydock?
Oh, what, in that graduation chase?
Yeah,
graduation chases are for horses that haven't won very often, and that says it all. Did you see what he did at Kempton?
Well, he pulled up.
I mean, fair play. Beating Ern River and Manila Drama and Itchy Feet over fences. I mean, that makes you borderline Gold Cup horse, doesn't it?
Hitman's 4 from 15. Eldorado Allen is 5 from 22.
I think if you put Eldorado Allen in a graduation chase with 3 runners that were significantly lower, then he'd probably have half a chance. And Hitman, oh, fair play. He finished 2nd a lot, and then he's just. I don't like the horse. I think he's the softest horse in training. I don't think he stays 3 miles. They might just on fast ground be able to stretch him out to 2.7, but he'll be taken on up front again.
By what?
Well, does he know or take him on, won't he? Does he know?
No, he was ridden.
He was
ridden.
There's other front runners, and Eldorado Allen would be a horse that wouldn't be bothered by taking. He made the run in this last year, Eldorado Allen. So it's the softest horse in training, Hitman.
Hitman will go forward. What price do you think he should be, Hitman?
He shouldn't be favourite. Eldorado Allen should be favourite.
Hitman,
absolutely.
2.0. He will. The moment the race starts, he'll shorten. He is a bit of a bridle pony, definitely. He'll trade at even money in the race, so you'll be able to get out.
Helen doesn't know how hurtful that is, because one of the on-course betting reps used to call me Brent. And when I worked at Raceform, and I left Raceform, and I used to go back there and play golf with a few of the guys, and I used to go back to the offices, and one of the lads there, Ron Wood, started calling me Nelson, and I didn't want to ask him why, and it's because when David Brent used to go back into the office when he'd had the sack, he used to take his dog with him called Nelson.
Anyway, you don't like Hitman. Right, Hitman will win, but more importantly, he will trade short. He's a great horse to back now. You'll be able to get out even money, but he'll be too good for them. He'll make all, and he won't come off the bridle. DC.
That won't happen, Tom. Anyway, I'm after copying Adele a small bit in this, but again, I'm going for a horse that will handle the ground, and that's Does He Know? I think he's 4 from 6 in good ground. Doesn't really run in the heavy winter ground. He's early in the season and late in the season. It's a good solid horse. He'll stay further than 3. He should be able to stay up with him. And he's a nice price. He's about 8.0. So I'll just have a little win-only bet on him.
And Adele.
Yeah. Hitman. I thought that was I think it's interesting what Steve says about him, and he calls him. What did you say about him? He was windy.
Soft.
He's
soft.
soft.
He's soft. So he bled in the King George, didn't he? He burst a blood vessel, which is interesting because maybe that's why he's been a little bit the way he's been, because you don't know they bleed sometimes until it comes out of the nostrils. Sometimes they do it, but it stays inside. You don't really notice it. And that's why they can be a bit of a bridle horse and don't really let themselves down. So I was just wondering if maybe it's something he's had for a while. Anyway.
It's interesting that it came to surface when he's tried 3 miles as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you know, when you put them under pressure, then that's when it happens, because it could have been happening, but because he's not been under that, he's not gone that far before put under that kind of pressure, then that's when it comes out. So it's still a real big negative for me. That kind of thing needs a lot of that kind of medication and sorting out. So I'm going with Does He Know, who has been called a head case in the past. The last time he ran at Newbury, he ran out in the Challow, so over hurdles. But horses like him, I find like they always seem to have a little bit up their sleeve, always keeping a little bit back for themselves. I know he does a lot of schooling with Laura Collett, who spends a lot of time schooling him and stuff. So he stays well. He'll like the ground. He's a good price. Not wanting to go with Hitman, who is too short for me, given we've already said his negatives. So yeah, look, I'm not really strong on him. I do like him. I like the fact he's a little bit wayward. Horses like him, as I said, I think they hold a little bit back up their sleeves. So and I thought he was impressive last time out. So yeah, he stays further. Good galloper. And I think the fences seem to be making a bit more of a man of him. So yeah, I think there still might be a bit more to come with him.
Okay, a few different selections going up. Steve, I know you had one more thing to say.
People see me and they see the suit and they go, "You're not fooling anyone. They know rock and roll."
Oh no, that's I get confused.
I'll give you that one.
Good. All right. And I know that's Steve's leg going up later on. So I'm really looking forward to that race now. I think we'll find a bit out. I don't know how much I'm looking forward from a betting perspective to the Game Spirit. It might be a bit of a non-event betting wise. We might just have a look at the Champion Chase quickly as well. So Grenadine is 1.5, Fernand Sivilla is 6.5, Elixir the Nuts 9.0, 10.0, Melistic Mortlock is 81.0. DC, you had something here, did you not? Yes, you want to bet without the favourite?
Yeah, I like everyone put up no bet Grenadine. I didn't want to do that, so I've actually made last minute change. I'm going to go for Elixir the Nuts to finish second. Again, the ground, he'd handled the ground. I thought he was very good the last time. I put him up the last time to win at Wincanton, and I wasn't expecting to win by 8.5 lengths, but he was brilliant that day. He just jumped him into submission. The horse that beat him the time before, Excitations, actually franked that for him as well. He's up a few pounds now. He's up to 145. I know that doesn't really matter in this race. They're not. It's not a handicap, but I think that he can definitely finish second in this. I don't know what price you'll be getting for second. It'll probably be close to maybe 3.0, but I can see him finishing 8 or 9 lengths second to Grenadine.
Had you? Am I wrong that you were tempted with Melistic to finish second at one point?
I had Melistic up first, but I didn't see Elixir the Nuts. I had the wrong horse, but I'd have Elixir the Nuts over Melistic every day. Melistic will run.
I like Melistic.
Yeah, because I thought his win at Doncaster the last day was very good. I know he was kind of running out of puff there at the end of it a small bit maybe, but and I'd say Sensigal is a well handicapped horse, but I think Elixir the Nuts is probably just a different level to Melistic. So I changed literally a minute and a half ago. So we'll see if I was right or wrong. Fine.
I'm just going to use this chance then, because I know nobody else has an official bet in the race, to tell you that Grenadine is 15.0 for a Champion Chase. You've got Blue Lord in there at 13.0, Gentleman de May at 10.0, Editor de Gite 7.0, Edward Stone 3.0, and Energumen 2.63. Do you have any views on that, Steve, where Grenadine fits in amongst that lot? Can he win a Champion Chase, Grenadine?
I think he needs quite a few to underperform, but I think no reason why he can't run well. I just think he's a little bit off the top class. This is his sort of race, picking up a race like this. So, yeah, he's a nice enough horse who probably will win this and then probably win something like the back end Sandown race or something like that. I think he's won before. So I think if Edwardstone gets there in one piece, I think he's going to be very hard to beat. But Editor de Guy is a massive contender, no doubt about it.
The other thing on Grenadine is we sort of have to measure Edwardstone in a way, not just on what he did last time, and I don't think he was fully cooked for that being touched off by Editor de Guy, but his hammering of Grenadine, Adele in the Tingle Creek, if you take the view that Grenadine ran up to form, then Edwardstone is the second coming in the 2 mile chase division as far as the UK horses go, for all he was touched off last time. So I'm surprised he's not favoured for a champion chase, Edwardstone.
Oh, I really do hope he gets there. I absolutely love that horse. And listen, I know Editor de Guy is, like, the way they ride him, it is fantastic to watch when you see a horse go out there like from the front and, you know, really kind of like put the race to bed. But obviously Edwardstone, Tom rides him. He had to kind of ride him the way he did, you know, because he'd unseated him the time before. The only thing I'm worried a little bit about Edwardstone is I've just noticed when they do go that stride quicker, he's always. I can tell by his the way his ear language, that he's kind of looking for Tom for reassurance as to when to take off. And I just am a little bit worried about that for Cheltenham, because they go that stride quicker, and I just can see him a little bit out of his comfort zone, and he half looks and waits for Tom, which is why I felt like he made that bad mistake before. So I don't know whether they'll do a little bit of work on him at home. He's just so laid back. He's a lovely horse. I do think he's got a lot of ability. I just hope things kind of really click with him before that, like for Cheltenham.
And the other thing is that he was going to run at Ascot and then run in the Game Spirit, but then because Cheltenham was pushed a week later, he couldn't. And I know, you know, Alan King doesn't like him to be fresh, but there we are. Regarding his setback, I think the consensus is he will be that will not be able to be used as an excuse. He's being ridden again already, and he's absolutely fine. Dan Hussey says, "Gentlemen, to me, overpriced." I love how this has turned into a champion chase preview, but where the hell did that come from, by the way? Beating Blue Lord. Maybe he's a spring horse. He beat Edwardstone last year. Anyway, does anybody have anything else to say on this? Please.
I thought Edwardstone was probably unlucky the last time. He just let Editor de Guy get away from him. If they had pushed the button on him maybe 2 or 3 seconds earlier, I think he would have won. I think he's a fantastic horse. And I'd be backing him all day over in Orgamine again at Cheltenham. Gentleman to me, again, bit of a headbanger, but he could probably short. I think he's a very good horse as well, and he probably is a spring horse. I think there was another horse there a few years ago exactly like that, just came good for the Spring Festival. So I don't think he won at Cheltenham, but he won at Punchestown. But I'd have Edwardstone ahead of the lot of them. And poor old Grenadine gets an awful lot of abuse and is not a great horse, but he's won nearly £500,000. 10 wins in his career. He's a serious horse.
All right, the one thing